Hey brother Brew, hope you're doing well. Sending this video from Chile and catch up with you a little bit. I was thinking about you lately because there's this kid whose birthday we celebrated on Friday, and he reminds me of you. He's really creative and smart, but he's deliberate and meditative in the way he thinks about things. And he kind of looks like you actually as a 10-year-old, and I asked him in front of his parents if he were to grow his hair long, would it be big and curly like a lion's mane? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, this has to be a doppelganger here of Brother Brew. And we have this little box of gifts, and they're gifts of the heart. So there are these different trinkets and baubles and different things that should represent something that you want to give to the person, a quality that you want to give. And so sometimes people give a little nut and say, I hope you always have something to eat, or they give a little star or a little shell and say, I hope you always remember the sea and that you're infinite or something like that. And so that's called the caja de cumpleaños. And I had this Vaishnava calendar from last year with different stone carvings of all the avatars and all the deities. And one of them was Narasimha. And so I cut all these pictures out and put it in the caja de cumpleaños. And I gave him the Narasimha picture, photo, and said, you remind me of my best friend who has a lion mane, and I want you to always be strong, but always be also responsible in your power. I don't know really how he took it, but uh, it made me think of some fond memories of you. Also been reading a lot about Native Americans. Been reading some Calvin Luther Martin and in integrating that into the curriculum planning. We're learning about the Neolithic Revolution, the agricultural revolution with the kids. So my take is not so much all the things that happen, although we're looking at that, but this idea that did we really progress when we became horticulturalists? Did we really progress when we became agriculturalists? And trying to break down this idea that that life was nasty and brutish in hunter-gatherer societies, and that there really was an abundance, and the abundance depended on the way that the hunter-gatherers treated their game and the earth and the rituals that involved their intentions when seeking food and shelter from the earth. And actually, on Tuesday, I wrote Calvin Luther Martin and said, I have been thinking a lot about your books, and I told him that I translated some passages for the children, especially the first. I don't know if you remember the story of Katuk and the way of the human being when his spirit travels and he takes on a whale parker, and he becomes one of the whales. And it talks about how if he were to give himself to one of the whalers, it should be a whaler who shares their catch with other people and has clean boats and has a good intention in their hunt, rather than a whaler who has a nasty boat and doesn't share with others and doesn't help the old wives of the village. Anyway, I told him that we read that story, but I also said to him that I've been thinking a lot about moving back to North Carolina, and I said that the rivers and the trees and the winds and the seasons of that place really call me. And I also said to him, I have been thinking about doing some graduate work in Native American studies. All of this coming from a growing discontent and even some serious disgruntlement of my current position. I'm not finding that teaching here at the school is fulfilling me. I really like it, and I think that I have been more in love with the idea of what the school represents, but not the day-to-day activity. And even that has caused me some mental stress and some manifested physical stress. I've been having this sensitivity and this kind of heaviness in my liver, which of course is associated with frustration and also your place in the world. And the more I've reflected on it, the more I have meditated on it, I feel like I have some other mission in North Carolina, or in that area, and it's some type of spiritual mission. And I woke up this morning thinking a lot about that too, but I'm not trying to let my mind run wild with the possibilities, but really trying to dig deep into what it is that I have to do. And one, I'm at first I was kind of overwhelmed by all these thoughts, and now I feel like there's some. It's kind of exciting to know that there's some change on the horizon, and that there's something else that God, that the universe wants me to do with my life. Something that perhaps I've been preparing for, and I didn't say all that to Calvin Luther Martin, but that's the place it's been coming from. And he wrote me back almost immediately, within a couple of hours, and was pleased to hear that I had been using some of his texts in the classroom, and encouraged me. The word was urged me to move back to my place of origin, as he believes that we are people of place, we are indigens, that we know the places of our childhood have uh, thoroughly become part of us, that we have become inculcated with those patterns of nature. And I obviously see that other people don't have that same feeling. My wife, for example, doesn't feel tied to one particular place, maybe because she grew up in a lot of different places. But I have this burning urge uh, to take on a more serious spiritual endeavor, to dedicate myself more wholeheartedly to the spiritual life, but also to try to do that type of service in North Carolina. I mean, I don't have any plans yet, and I don't know what that looks like. And I don't think that I want to try to go back to North Carolina and be some type of uh, savior or prophet or anything like that. I just want to follow this mission that the universe is trying to lead me to. And I don't know if that'll be at the end of this year, or maybe in another year and a half or something. But I definitely don't want to teach at the school next year. I don't know if that means I'll stay in Chile, but I feel strong enough to communicate how I feel, and to follow the things that I have been seeing and understanding where I'm going. So I'm happy to have a little bit more clarity on that, and I hope this is going to help me physically overcome the pain that I've been having. I've been going to an Ayurvedic therapist, and we did a 9-day treatment. And I've been changing my diet, really watching what watching what I'm eating, and not overeating. And I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel like I literally don't have as many things on my plate. And I'm trying to get less things on my plate, and be a little bit more uh, single pointed in my focus in life. I've been doing a lot of meditation and trying to understand how my mind works, and I feel like I'm making a little bit of progress there. But there's something that I'm holding on to. There's something that where if we think about the third chakra being what governs the place in the world, and the liver being associated with the third chakra, and also the gallbladder, which governs decisions, indecisions. Then there's something else that I'm trying to work out. I think I haven't said anything to my parents yet, but I think they'll be happy to hear my thoughts. But that might not be their information for another several months. Um, so I'm in a period of change, of investigation, of uh, figuring out who it is that I want to be, and feel like all of what I've been doing is has been leading to this. I don't regret what I've been doing at all. There's some fear there. There's some fear about that change, about what it looks like, about not having enough, or not knowing what it is I'm supposed to do, or where it is that I'll live. But I have a lot of faith. I think I have faith that my life has a life of its own in some ways. That there's some objective. Objective's not the word. Some service that I have to do uh, in another place, and I had to come to this place to clean myself out and become a new person. Um, I don't think that I ever told you what was going on with us during the summer. Uh, Rachel got pregnant, and we were really excited, and we moved to this apartment where I'm now, which is by the beach, and it's really great. It's right by the beach, and it's a lot calmer than being at the school. But about 6 weeks in, she had a miscarriage, and it was what you call, I'm not sure the technical term. There wasn't actually a fetus in the amniotic sac, so it was embryonic pregnancy, and she actually had to go to the hospital and have a procedure so that they could clean all of the fluids and this amniotic sac from her uterus. And it was a painful process, and her body didn't really react very well, and we were quite sad at the time. I suppose looking at it now, and having said all of that, what I've said, she and I are seeing that maybe it was. I mean, it obviously wasn't the best time. We don't have any control over that. We don't really have control over anything. But it wasn't the best time because there's all these uncertainties right now that we are living in this moment. And we've talked about having a child and trying again for a child because we've been in this process of waiting for her body to heal itself, as was recommended by the doctors and the Ayurvedic therapists. And that was another reason that we did this Ayurvedic cleanse, so that her body could regenerate all the tissues that were necessary to have a child. She has been teaching a new level this year called Guardians, and she feels like she can't really leave it after just 1 year if she were to have a child and have to take a year off. And then with this very imminent and clear change that I want to make, I being that I'm not don't want to be a teacher anymore in the school, and maybe have to stick around to train another teacher, but not be that teacher at the school, which would be a big change for them. Those two things combined, maybe may push back what possible plans to have a kid. Obviously, it wasn't the right time, and there's something we had to learn from that. But it was hard. It was hard for a little while, especially having been excited. initially. Mm. I hope you guys are really doing well. I'd love to hear about your service in North Carolina and what you've been up to. I know it's spring there, uh, but it's some beautiful weather. I thought about you working at the hospital the other day, what that must be like, and I appreciate your service to all those people who you are ministering to, and I appreciate Caroline's service to the people she's ministering to. Um, Howard Satchel and May, Paco does a lot of barking at the school, and it's kind of becoming a problem because he doesn't leave some of the kids alone, or he's in the classes, the PE classes. So we're trying to figure out what to do with him, how to make his life happier too. Rachel was telling me about, I don't know if you ever heard of the book, The Art of Racing in the Rain, and it's about a dog who sees the life of his owner through his perspective, and there's this kind of scandal that goes on, and the dog intervenes and makes it obvious to the man how he should handle the scandal. Rachel was saying that Paco's trying to intervene and tell me that I need to make a change of what I'm doing at the school. So there's lots of different signs that are coming my way about what to do. Well, man, I love you, and I hope to hear from you soon. And maybe you can send me a video back or an email. Would love to catch up. I don't know when I'm coming home next. I mean, maybe the next time I come home will be the time I come home for good, which could be a while. I don't know my plans yet. My folks are looking to come to Chile in late January and stay for a couple of weeks while we have summer break, and then I might stay here for another year. Uh, don't really know right now, but I might not see you for a time, another a year or so. So I hope we can keep in touch, and maybe if you like, I'll send you the email that Calvin Luther Martin sent me. I was pleased to get that. Send me some updates, send me some North Carolina love, and hope all is well. And saludos to your wife and to May and Satchel and Nate and Caroline and all the folks in North Carolina. And tell them Pine Trees I said hello and send me an update. Love you, man.